palpating. So Alex already mentioned one of the things that I was taught not to do, and like Celeste doesn't like, is I call it spidering. So sorry, my hands are cold, buddy. Yeah, doing this. And there's a reason I don't like it. I always like to have a reason for things. So when it actually comes time to be a clinician, you're always trying to do things with a purpose. So when you're palpating, if you're doing this, right, and you're looking for like pain, discoloration, temperature, whatever, if I do this and homeboy goes, yeah, that hurts, and my finger's in like 4 different spots, it's like, okay, well, what hurts? Or, oh, I feel heat, but where did I feel heat? So what I like to suggest is always try to use 2 fingers, sometimes 3, depending on how big the scales is. I'm pretty sure Dr. Celeste will tell you never to use your thumb. And there's a reason for that. You don't have as much sensation. But sometimes I think the thumb works in different locations. So if you're really not feeling something, I would try your thumb. Just don't do it on a skills check if you can avoid it. But when in doubt, 2 fingers. The biggest mistake I see people making is not putting enough pressure. I get you don't want to hurt your partners, you don't want to hurt your patients. And obviously don't just like stab anybody with your fingers. But people can handle a pretty decent amount of pressure. And this is your time to learn. You love your classmates, they can suck it up a little bit, you know, they can take it. And your patients will always tell you, and you can always look at their face, if you're putting too much, if you're causing pain, they're usually going to give some sort of sign. And as you get used to things and as you get more practice, you won't have to put as much pressure. But some of those structures, man, they're hard to find if you're not going deep enough, especially on more muscular people. You need to be able to get through those levels and layers of muscle. One thing I will say, technically you should be able to find everything on people, but sometimes that's hard, man. And I have definitely had times where I'm like, dude, I just don't feel what I'm supposed to be feeling. At the end of the day, being in the right spot is gonna get you far. Because if they're having pain on the scap, the spine of the scapula, and I know the spine of the scapula should be right here, and they have pain, okay, they have pain on the spine of the scapula, even if maybe I don't feel it quite all the way. I'm gonna know by putting all the pieces together what's important. So don't beat yourself up too much. If there's just somebody you really can't find something on, just make sure you're using every single landmark and every clue that you can, that you're in the most accurate spot as possible. And then try a different body type or different person to make sure you actually know what it's supposed to feel like. Because one of the biggest things when it comes to palpation is being able to differentiate between textures. So if you're supposed to be on bone, it should feel like bone. If you're supposed to be on muscle, it should feel like muscle. But you need to know what that feels like. So try out different people, make sure you're like really taking the time to feel what those differences in texture mean. So like for instance, the other day, somebody was asking me how to be more accurate when finding the acromion. Well, I like to start in a spot where I definitely know I'm on bone, and then keep going, taking my time. Oh, that's not bone anymore. That's muscle, or that's a dip. Well then I ease up. Okay, I'm back on bone. So that's the edge of the acromion. Okay, so making sure able to differentiate between those textures will help you define those borders of things.